so that you can, I'm going to end the call and see if I can get you there and then go live on YouTube or Instagram too. Okay. So see you shortly.
Okay. See you shortly. Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Okay, I got my glasses. Mhm. Okay, we are live, people. I'm just going to see if I can get Stacy Brown to join me here. I'm also going live on Instagram. So happy Friday. I'm so excited to be here with everyone. It's been, there's been lots of challenging days, challenging moments, challenging weeks. And I'm sure, like me, you're all just, trying to survive. I apologize for having my hands in front of the camera here, but just trying to get my Instagram live set up as well. And so let's see let's see how this goes. Stacy, I still don't see you, but I'm looking to see participants. Maybe it still has a moment. It says you started. Yes, we're live here as well on Instagram. Hi, peeps. It's Friday. Remember, we are live every Friday, both on Instagram and on YouTube. My goal is to continually be here to support and provide information for you, knowledge, keeping you current, making sure that you have access to the knowledge that you need and the changing information. Real estate is a great wealth building tool. It's an excellent way for you to continually build wealth if that's what you choose. Okay, Stacy, I think I see you here. So Stacy, are you here as yet? It says you're here. Stacy Brown is a mortgage broker and she's joining me today. I am hoping that it's not just that you're a viewer. Stacy, I want you to be a participant. So I'm just checking to see how I can bring you up on the screen as well. Dear, I don't see it. Okay. Stacy, can you hear me? Yep, she says, I'm seeing you, but how do I get on? That's what I'm seeing. Okay, let me click on these things to see if I can add you. Add as a moderator. Manage standard. Okay, let's see, Stacy. I'm trying to get you on. Let's see. I'm not sure if that works. So let's see here. Start a Q&A, start a poll. Nope. Engaged. Okay, what do I do here? Manage. Yes, people, I'm trying to figure out the technology. It's not necessarily working out quickly. Our topic today was to talk about the 250K mistake that a 35-year-old woman made buying a car loan and taking it on, and how it's preventing people like ourselves in our community, women, Black folks, Black individuals, immigrants, people of color, how it's preventing them from building wealth. I do see you here. It says that I've added you as a community, but that's not what I want. So I think that's not, I don't know what that means. Okay, Stacy, learn more to remember. Okay, so maybe we can just try adding you to our Instagram so that we can get started and not waste too much time, because it's saying go to channel. No. Look at that. I'm at your channel. No. Yeah, Stacy, I just don't think this is going to work for me. I definitely am not sure 100% how to get this started on YouTube. Adding you, I'm looking at it. I'm still going. It's saying that you're here. I've added you as someone that, yeah, we're going to have to come back to this another time. Let's, yeah, put remove, hide. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let me see if a standard moderator that makes a difference. Nope. Okay. I'm going to send an invite to you, or let's see if you can join me on Instagram. Let's see. Add. No. Share the link. I'm just going to share the YouTube or the Instagram link. And if you could just join me there instead. I don't want to waste 10, 15 minutes trying to figure this out. So let's see. Stacy, join me on Instagram, please, so that we can get started. And thank goodness no one's joined us yet. Yes, I don't see anyone joining. They're telling our followers. So people, it's Friday. I think that every time I try to do this, it doesn't work. The last time I tried it, I had my daughter here. We got on live. It worked, but I don't know why. I can't see how to add you, Stacy, but here you are. I see. Thank you, people, for joining. I've got City Kids families joined. Josh has joined. And maybe we're just waiting for Stacy, who is our guest expert today, to join us. I hope that I can cut some of this out of my YouTube, but if I can't, that's okay. I see I am Stacy. Oh, where did I send it? Let's see if I can get you to add. Invite. Okay, I think we're going to be in business soon, people. So second time trying out YouTube with a guest and it didn't work, but we are going to be successful on Instagram. Stacy and I met a little earlier and we said, yep, never did it before on YouTube, and we were just trying it again, but it didn't work. There you are, Stacy. So sorry. I couldn't get it to work on Instagram or YouTube, but on Instagram, here you are. Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic. And I can hear you now too. So welcome and happy Friday. As I said, Stacy, I don't know how and when I'm going to get YouTube to work for me, but that's okay. Next time, I think actually the last time I was trying it, it was Facebook, but no worries. I tried both Facebook and YouTube now, and I haven't been successful. So let's get started. Maybe Stacy, just tell them who you are and what you do so that people know how they can utilize your services or what your services are, and then we'll get started.
I have been helping families and people get into their dream homes or their starter homes or their retiring, the home of their dreams that they're going to retire in for 12, 13 years, or maybe it's 14. Sometimes I lose track.
Time just moves so quickly, and we're so young, that we have so many things going on our minds we can't always remember.
Achieve their goal.
Excellent.
Their goal is keeping them focused on really what it is they want to do. So I'm always a person that they want to bounce ideas off of, whether or not it is in the mortgage field or maybe it's a business they want to start. My goal
Awesome.
is to help my client achieve their goals.
So you can help them get the financing and the capital that they need for either a home or business or to achieve any financial goal. That's awesome. I think for today, it would be like, remember the video I shared with you? I don't have a clue how to share it on Instagram here. Actually, let me see if there's a way to send it. No. So that's okay. I sent it and shared it with you, but that video, Stacy, it depicted a woman, a 35-year-old woman, because our topic today is the $250,000 mistake that a 25-year or 35-year car loan has cost our community and individuals like ourselves, Black women, Black individuals, or people of color, immigrants, to not be able to build wealth. Why? Because we just don't have financial knowledge and financial literacy working for us. And I think part of what you do outside of your mortgage brokerage is that you've built a program helping to educate kids. You educate adults, but you're also educating kids. And I think that with financial literacy, this woman, people like ourselves and women like this, would definitely not make this mistake. What are your thoughts on the actual video that I shared just initially? What would you respond? How would you? Yeah.
There's no way that this is actually factual. But she seemed so happy that she got a depreciating liability for 35 years, paying like $600 a month, which is honestly a mortgage payment.
Absolutely. This woman lives in the United States, so that's absolutely a mortgage payment in many parts of the US.
And I was like, and the joy that she had on getting a depreciating liability, and it's people saying that.
Yeah, and let's be real too. It was a Toyota Camry. It's not like she bought a Corvette or some exotic car. Absolutely.
Huge component in our community.
Yes.
And the second component that I said that I immediately thought about is, where are the regulators?
Yeah. Like, who is allowing?
Like, this was, I was like, these steps and protocols in place.
Yes.
To not allow an item like this, which is a depreciating liability, to then be stretched out for decades. That the asset is not going to be worth it in like 3 to 5 years, like, because people change cars so frequently.
So exactly, and she could. It's really this asset she may actually never own. It sounds like she could die before it, but I think let's give people some perspective, because I think part of it is she didn't disclose the number of years. She actually disclosed the monthly amount and that she put zero down, because this was the thing. She put zero. She was so proud of herself. She put nothing down. She's getting it for $600 a month, and she's going to be paying it for 424 months. I think that was, or some obscene number like that. And I had to think about it multiple times. And I thought, 424 months? I don't think she realized that it's not days we're talking about. We're talking about months. And that's literally the typical amortization period that you might get from a mortgage, right? Like, you typically 20, 25, 30-year mortgages, right?
They go for usually like 25 or 30 years.
Exactly.
They don't have amortization, they have term, so
Yes.
their term is 30 years.
Exactly. So, but she didn't put that, she had no understanding of that concept, that 424 months is more equal to what she would take on if she had committed to a purchase of a home, right? Not a car. A car, I think even 60 months is probably a long time in a car, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically, I guess cars be financed for 5 years.
Yeah.
50 months. That's probably the average. But even then, still, when you think how often do people keep cars for 5 years, depending on the type of car, right?
Yes.
And then of course, not only does she have that car payment, now she has the insurance payment. Now she has, what happens when that car breaks down? What happens if the car needs a new muffler?
Yeah, and Stacy, will that car even be owned and still running, like 20 years from now, let alone 30? It's not. It's a Toyota Camry. It's a Toyota Camry. Absolutely. And it's to, even if it's satire, to be honest, Stacy, it really is, there is so much truth to it in that people take on, like she was proud to put zero down, which I mean, even buying a home with zero down, it's not an ideal scenario because similarly with a home, like I think if I don't want to jump the gun, but I want to come to the numbers in terms of a mortgage, because this is an asset that she, or sorry, a depreciating asset that she bought that will not have the value, I think, even 10 years into the loan. It's just the value is gone, like maybe 2 or 3 years. It's probably fair to say that the car is probably not even worth maybe more than a third of its value that she bought it at the outset. Like,
Absolutely. I mean, I guess they say as soon as you drive it off the lot, the car is like depreciates by 60% as soon as you drive it off the lot.
yeah,
So when you add that in and then you multiply that by the numerous years that she has this liability for, it doesn't make
it
much
doesn't make sense.
sense.
So if I want to go to some of the numbers because I agree with you. Outside of the fact that I was like, this is 424 months. What, who allowed this? Like, what regulatory body is there to oversee this kind of criminal? That's criminal. You know, you're taking advantage of me and my lack of knowledge and understanding, right? To, and that's like you should be jail. You should be put in jail for allowing this, like if it really occurred, right? And then I go and figure out, because really many times over, this type of contract and agreement, you don't get to walk away with this type of contract and agreement and have it reviewed by a lawyer or have it reviewed by friends and family. You're usually doing it right there on the spot.
On the spot. So that's why you need regulators to come in and say, first of all, this is not allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed. I
You
agree.
cannot offer this to any client because this is a depreciating liability. There is the asset does not match what the payments are and the term of this liability is.
Yeah.
Right. So if we have regulators that step in to say, okay, these things can't happen because what happens is there's a lot of new immigrants that may come into a country and they don't know the rules and regulations. They only know that they need a car. They only know that they need this because they have to get their kids to school or they got to get to work or and they're like, well, I don't have the money right now, but this person's going to give me this and I think I can make these payments. But they're not realizing the term or they're not realizing how long this is and and honestly, what is the commitment to doing something like this?
Yeah, so someone's asked the question in the chat, Stacy, and I think it's important for me to put perspective on it because someone's saying, what's the topic? Because I agree. If you came on a little later, you didn't get the topic. The topic is how this woman in the US made a $250,000 mistake by buying a car, a Toyota Camry, okay, for zero down, paying $600. It was $599 a month because they love to have it just under the six five. It sounds a lot less at $599 than 600. $599 a month, and accepted a 424-month period to pay this car loan. And I really don't know if it's real true, but this video went viral on social media, and I thought, okay, this means it begs for you and I to step on here, Stacy, and talk to people. It was a black woman in the US who maybe don't have the financial knowledge to know that that is an absolute mistake. She's going to have that car probably die well before she's finished paying off this commitment and loan, and how the industry, especially the car industry, can take advantage of you and I who may lack the knowledge that a zero down and a term greater than 60 months is not worth it. The car is not going to have the value. Like we said, you drive it off the lot and the values drop substantially. So to have it for more than 60 months, which is 5 years, is ridiculous. But this lady is committed to a 30-year period to pay this $599 per month. It's insane. And we're trying to say that at the end of it, she will have spent $250,000 in payments and total amount in terms of interest and everything over that period of time. But she was so proud of herself. So proud. And
when we look at mortgage agent is the fact that you don't want to be house poor. And
Absolutely.
that new house feeling when you first move in, and this is what caught up to a lot of clients that happened in the pandemic. You overbid on a property, and you're scraping together everything that you need to get into this property because you're like, oh, we got to buy a house. We have to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you buy the house. You overbid for that property, but it was like, I need to get the house. You get into the house, and the new house smell quickly wears off. And then you realize, oh, well, I bought this house and I no longer can go out to dinner. I no longer can, get my Starbucks. I no longer can do a lot of the things that I enjoy in a lifestyle.
Yes.
Right? Because now we're talking about your whole life. So this is your lifestyle prior to getting this property. You no longer can do a lot of the things that you had done in your life prior because now you have this. It's an asset, but there's a lot.
It's still a liability in many ways because there's a lot of associated costs.
Right? There's a mortgage, and now you have house insurance, and if something breaks down,
taxes, maintenance. But Stacy, you said something really important earlier, and what you said was to buy your starter home. Your starter home can't be the home that keeps you, house poor, right? And keeps you tied to those expenses because everything that you work for and earn goes right back into paying that. And now you, like you said, you can't live, you can't travel, you can't maybe even enroll have children that you enroll in activities and so on. So I agree. We're not the reverse. Like this woman didn't. She probably doesn't even own a home, Stacy.
For Black men and Black women in Canada. This is a video for the States, but just on average in Canada. Mm-hmm. Black men typically earn around 41,000, a little over like 41,200 or $100. So a little over 41,000. Black women, we're around 35,000.
What can those numbers do for us? That's ridiculous. If I'm married to a Black man and he earns 49 or 30, that's less. We're under 100,000. We can't even afford a home.
When you put that into perspective and say, okay, well, even if we are a family, there's two incomes coming into this household. You guys are making a little under $80,000 a year. However, you now have a car payment for $600. That's a huge expense. And that's like your whole income, right? So that's not including the taxes that we have.
Yes.
That's not your take home. That's not your net, right? So when I think about that, and so that's why I wanted to reference the fact that what I talk to my clients about is to not be house poor. Well, don't be car poor. Don't be car poor either, because it's not an asset. I mean, the house is an asset. You can sell it and hopefully make money on the property. However, the car, you're not going to be making money on this Toyota Camry because it is, first of all, it's not plastic, right?
No. But also, if we go back to Stacy, let's bring it back to the actual house. Had she bought a house instead, how would that look in that same length of time? That, because like we said, they have 30 years typically as their term there. Had she, instead of just putting out $600 per month for the next 420 something months, and she bought a home instead, because the car is not worth anything. I don't even think she owns the car at this point. She's still paying, probably after, maybe 10 years, she's still paying for a car that is no longer able to be used and suited for her. But what would it look like had she invested in a home instead? Because I'm assuming that she had good credit, why she could go out and qualify, but she didn't have any money. She hadn't saved. Maybe she doesn't even have a job that can actually sustain saving enough to put a down payment on it so that she could actually afford a 60-month term, which is reasonable in a car. But if she had bought a home instead, so even if she had spent and bought a $250,000 home, which I think is pretty high in the US, she can probably buy a home for and maybe say 100,000. But if she bought a $250,000 home, absolutely. Not here in the GTA, because I do think that if we go outside of, say Canada or outside of Ontario or outside of the GTA, like 4 or 5 hours, we probably can find lesser expensive homes. But I just worked out the numbers, Stacy. If she bought a $250,000 home at 5%, which is still pretty, fair right now, the interest rates have been coming down, but I wanted to use something that we're familiar with. 5%, her mortgage payment would have been, instead of the six, I mean, instead of the 600, she'd be paying 1,300, which is still, probably out of her range unless she has a partner or someone that she can share that with. But just looking at the numbers, the interest that she would pay on that is still substantial over a 30-year period. She paid 233,000, just looking at the numbers here. But the value of that home, say in 10 years, would be 370. In 20 years, it would be 550. In the same 30-year period, that house would now be worth over 800,000. That's a huge difference. She now has an appreciating asset that may have been a stretch for her. And I agree with you. Maybe don't go into a $250,000 home. Maybe buy something at 100 or 150 so that you're not house poor, so that you're not stretching yourself so much. But now you can have, because even $100,000 home, and what I did was fairly conservative. I used 4% as the rate of appreciation on that property. I know 4% is very minimal here in Ontario. We're looking more, much higher double-digit return rates. But I figure let's keep it conservative across Canada, across US. I think it's reasonable to say inflation is in and around 3, so it's fair to say we can appreciate at 4. So that's 4%. I think that if it's higher or lower or whatever, you're still looking at possibly $1 million asset in the same period of time that she would have been paying that car payment, right? If she could have stretched herself a little further, or even bought within her means at 100 or 150, she would be able to have a $500,000 or $1 million asset, depending on what, instead of an asset that is now, or sorry, instead of a car, because it's not an asset, instead of a car that she can no longer drive. Yeah, that is probably long, she's probably long, it wore off, the initial excitement of owning a brand new car. And yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Yes. 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 I can, when I go to post it, I can say that. How this, 250K mistake cost her $1 million, $1 million asset, because that's what it is. I really think that lack of education within our community is costing us. It's taking away from our ability to actually build true assets. We focus on doing things like our nails and our hair and our buying cars and clothes. All of those things, they have no value. Yeah, they look good. Yeah, they feel good, but they're very limited. Like, we have to learn to work on delaying gratification and understanding and getting financial knowledge, especially when we have great credit. Because I'm assuming she had pretty good credit. I'm sure that, if she had poor credit, she probably wouldn't have been able to be approved. And maybe she did have poor credit. Why they gave her this, I don't know. But I just know that if we have good credit and we could get the knowledge that we need, we could go out and we could work with you, Stacy, to buy ourselves homes that don't stretch us. Because for 3 to 5 years, we can start off in that home and we don't have to stay there permanently. If our income changes, the equity and asset appreciates, we can sell it, take the money. Or instead of selling it, I always say to people, don't sell it, keep it, rent it out, take some of the equity out and go and buy the next. That's a,
We think about financial literacy determines your social economic standing.
absolutely.
What it is.
It does. It's who you know and what you know that's going to help you.
Your socioeconomic standing. So if we truly want those other things,
Yes.
our financial literacy really is the key that's going to help us get there.
Yeah.
And so,
And that's why we take the time, Stacy, to do this. We come on here We have virtual events. We have you yourself, who's an expert, that we're saying to anyone that listened to this, talk to Stacy, reach out to Stacy, get your pre-approval because that's your ticket to knowing how much you can afford that won't keep you house poor, won't keep you strapped. And you can now go out shopping. And yes, it may not be in Toronto if you live in Toronto. It may not be in Brampton or it may not be in Durham if that's where you live. It may have to be on the perimeter of those key places that I've mentioned. But you can get in and you can get started and you can get the net, the equity building, the pay down occurring so that you can come back, Stacy, right? 3 years, 5 years from now, you can come back because Stacy can say, look, now that your income is improved and your equity and your the asset that you own is greater, let me show you how you can keep that and take equity out to go and buy the next and improve, maybe buy something that is slightly more along the lines of what you want. But they have to get the pre-approval. They have to come here. They have to talk to you. They have to talk to me. They have to listen to other people. Don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. They're not stupid. They're just showing where you're at in terms of knowledge. You don't have the information. I sometimes don't feel like, in a room of very knowledgeable people that sometimes I'm asking, questions that everybody else knows the answer to. But I don't, how do I get the answer if I don't ask? How do I, begin to know?
That's right. And that's why I always tell my clients, no question is stupid. Like it's something, and of course, us women, we kind of like think about things when we're going to bed or when we're sleeping, and we're like, oh, I need to know this. I'm like, okay, just write it down. Call me in the morning, and we can discuss the question that you have on your mind. Yep. Because no question is stupid. If you don't know, you just don't know.
For anyone listening today, yeah.
And you know what your options are.
Yeah.
Right?
For anyone listening today, and you're here, type in the chat, ask us a question, ask us something that you're not sure about, even about this situation or about something that you know in your own experience or your family or friends' experience that you've been wanting to know. If you don't ask us here, at least reach out to us independently and ask us. But today, I urge every one of you to connect with Stacy, get your pre-approval, because the only way you're going to know what you can qualify for, whether it's a pre-approval, because Stacey, you're saying you can help them get loans for mortgages, but you also help people understand how they can build their businesses using financing, using their property, using assets that they already have, like rental properties, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
The whole goal is my goal is always to help you achieve whatever your goal is, whether it's short term or long term. Like if your dream is to, I know somebody, her dream is to do a retreat. And what does that look like? Where does she start? And how do we get there for her to achieve that goal, right? And like that's the thing. You may have a long-term goal in the back of your head and you think, oh, I'm never going to be able to achieve it. How do I do that, right? But I always say, just talk up.
Yeah.
Talk up and say the things that you would like to do. Because if you don't talk up, I think nobody's ever going to get that this is something in your mind that you would actually love to be able to achieve, right? So we need to speak up. We need to start speaking our goals into existence.
Yes. Yeah.
And then therefore, because you never know who you're going to meet to say, oh, I know a person for that, or I can help you with this, or whatever that is.
And I agree with you, but Stacy, even for people that come to you, we're not the expert in everything. We know what we know really well, but we have other experts that we can lead you to, so that I agree with what you're saying. Speak into existence what you want and connect with at least one expert to help lead you to your goals using various experts. Because I know that I could not do what I do in real estate without you. I cannot help my clients get mortgages or understand the mortgaging process. Even getting, I can help them fix their credit, but you can tell them what are things that they need to do based on their current credit to get approved by this lender or that lender or this lender, because you have worked with so many different lenders and they don't all look for the exact same things. many of them have some sort of variance on what they. So if your bank is saying no, don't worry. I hardly ever go to the bank for a mortgage approval. I usually go to a mortgage broker or a mortgage agent, and that's what we're saying to you. Don't be deterred by, the bank or someone saying, "Oh, you can't get that, can't happen, you can't do that." No, you got to pursue your goals relentlessly until you accomplish them. And Stacy will lead you to the experts and or the lenders that can help you get it. I don't believe that going to the bank is the best way to get your first mortgage or to get your next mortgage. They are.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't believe it. You know why I don't believe it, Stacy? Because my first property, I went to my bank and they said no. Do you think that I still stopped there and said, "Oh, I'm not gonna." They said no. Oh, well, no. I found a realtor saying, "My bank said no. Who do you know? Because you're shopping, we're shopping for a property. Who do you know that I can get to help me get the mortgage approval?" And I got the mortgage approval because she led me to someone, and it wasn't even a bank. It was a tier two lender that provided it was MCAP, who provided my.
MCAP is the number one lender. So they are considered an A lender. They do have two divisions. They do have like their B side and they do have their A side.
Yes.
They're just considered a monoline lender, meaning that they don't have a face front. They're not an actual bank.
But people don't know MCAP as that. And when I knew MCAP, it was more for property assessments and looking at the value. So they don't know that, and they don't know of Street Capital, B2B, and all these other lenders that are out there, and they think it's just RBC, TD, CIBC. No,
the big banks.
Yeah, the big banks. That's all you know. The ones that are visible.
That's not the case, right? Because you see the storefront.
Yes.
You see the retail option, you can go in. But really and truly, for your mortgage, how many times do you go into the bank to talk about your mortgage? You normally call. You call a 1-800 number and say, "Hey, I need to do this," or "Hey, I need to do that." Like I can tell you, the very minimal time I go into a bank to do anything.
Yes.
Right? Because most things you can do online or on the phone.
That's right.
And so like, there are other lending facilitators out there that do offer that.
Yes.
There are considered A lenders in the mortgage industry that do give you great rates, great options.
Yes.
But they're just not one of the top six.
Yes. And we have to recognize that they can still give you all that you can get from a bank that you can see visibly. So I think let's try and wrap, because I think what I want people to take away today is that we don't want you to be that person that makes that $250,000 mistake that costs you your $1 million asset. We want you to be able to start creating and start building what you need to today to create that $1 million asset. And the first step, I believe, is to sit down with Stacy, sit down with her and find out what you can pre-approve for. There's no commitment by getting a pre-approval. You don't have to buy. You don't have to be ready to buy now. You can start planning, because that's typically what you need to do. You can start planning and putting in place all that you'll need to do to make that purchase. But understanding what you qualify for is key. And whether your credit needs to be repaired or remedied or fixed in any way to improve your.
Payment is not going to affect how much of a property you're going to be able to afford.
That's another really good point to make.
Talking about that, and so you would have said, "Oh, I cannot buy this $600 payment car because I am looking for a house."
Exactly. Because that gets added to your debt service ratio, and then it could blow your numbers out of the water and approvability. That's right. Yeah, good point. On track. Yes, yes. So Stacy, share with our listeners how they can contact you. I'm pretty sure your Instagram is showing up here, but just tell them two ways, maybe, or one way that's the best way to get in touch with you, because I want to hear from you, Stacy, next week, that several of the people that were on today and that listen to this later contacted you.
My Instagram is I am Stacy Brown underscore. You'll see my picture up. And you can also contact me on email by Stacy.brown at mortgagegroup.com. So that's mortgage, and then it's just and then it's grp.com.
Okay.
And also, or you can just, what did they say? DM me on
DM.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? DM me on Instagram. I'm active to always message you back. That's probably the easiest way to DM me on Instagram.
Yep.
And of course, I will like to say that I should be restarting Kittynomics.
Yay! And that would happen on Friday.
So we should be restarting that back in the new year. I really want to get back to helping our kitties learn financial literacy skills. So that should be starting back in the new year. So you can also check out Kittynomics. That's KIDDIENOMICS. Our Instagram channel to see the announcement come out. And then, of course, I'm hoping we'll have this Andrea back on Kittynomics.
Absolutely. I come from a school teaching background. My goal, I love those kids asked way better questions than many adults. And they are so excited about learning. It doesn't matter what it is, accounting, real estate. I mean, they're brilliant. They are. There's no filter. There is no shame. They don't care. They'll ask it. And I love it. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Good. Awesome. Yeah. So one last thing I want to. So awesome. Well, we'll do it again because I think that we will continually find opportunities to help people. Like a lot of the changes this fall, really we need to help. We need to be here for our people and our community so that they understand how important the knowledge is and the changes are and how it can impact them so that they can begin that journey to working towards that $500,000 or $1 million asset or more, right? So one last thing for me is that I don't want people to forget, you have to get registered November 14th. We have a virtual event. It's free because that's what I love doing, is giving you knowledge and bringing experts to you that don't cost you so that you can at least have access to the information. And then what you do with it, hopefully thereafter, is to help yourself build wealth. So on November 14th at 7 p.m., we have 3 passive investment experts that are going to share with you different products, one from the Dominican Republic, one here locally in Toronto, and the other, actually, they're both locally in Toronto, but they're doing different things, and they're going to talk to you about how to get involved in their products that they offer. I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to hear, Stacy, I'm going to listen out next week to see how many of our viewers and listeners today, because we had a lot of people on, that is going to reach out. They're going to take charge and reach out to get their pre-approval. It doesn't matter if you're ready to buy now. Doesn't matter. The market is going to start changing so much in the new year that now is the time to start getting your, getting prepared. Okay. Thank you, Stacy, for joining me. This was awesome. I can't wait till we can do it again. And I look forward to joining you on Kittynomics and working together to help our community continue to build their financial literacy and wealth and to build it for generations to come. It's our year and everybody's year that is on this call and everybody that listens to this episode. 2025 is our year. Awesome. Thank you. Bye.